All right, and welcome to the latest live edition of the Winner Circle presented by Naira and Naira Bets, the official online betting partner of the Belmont Stakes and Saratoga Racecourse. I'm Bram Weinstein. JD Fox below is joining us because he spent the weekend with Dan Torgman, who is, depends your position on this. Either Dan is refusing to leave San Diego or the airlines are refusing to send him home. So it's probably somewhere in the middle, right, Dan?
Or the third option. I can't afford to leave San Diego. So.
Wait, don't they have to put you on a plane, though, if you had a reservation and they keep canceling it? Isn't that the rule of law in airlines?
I think so. But if I could have sold my seat to someone, I would have, given the way things went on Friday and Saturday. Pretty bumpy for me. JD got out. He had a big hit on Friday. He'll tell us more about it. But it was a painful day. By the end of it, like I emailed you yesterday, me and JD were betting Woodbine and Turf Paradise from Del Mar, just looking for action, just looking for another hit.
Right, but we had chalk to start. I mean, I tried to tell you for months, Knicks Go's going to lap everybody. And it was, I mean, easy money's the wrong way to put it because that was a really strong field. But still, if that horse is at his best, you're gonna get what you got. So here's the stretch call, the Breeders' Cup Classic.
Knicks Go, and he's going to try to take him the distance here. Knicks Go comes wide for the stretch drive. Hot Rod Charlie on the inside is second, and then comes Medina Spirit, Art Collector, and Essential Quality into the final furlong, and it is Knicks Go. Knicks Go has a 2.5 length lead. Medina Spirit, Hot Rod Charlie, Essential Quality. Knicks Go, a superstar, wins the Breeders' Cup Classic. Medina Spirit was second, Essential Quality was third, and Hot Rod Charlie was fourth.
I mean, I very rarely get to say I told you so, and it's not like I'm going on out on a limb really here by picking him to win that race, but I think I caught it. If it was going to be anything, it's going to be wire to wire, and there it was, and I think that was adequately put. Superstar. That horse is unbelievable when at his best, and there's nobody in the world that can beat him.
That horse went out and set fast fractions and still ran a faster last 16th of a mile than anybody in the field. That was just a dominant performance. That last mile that last 16th of a mile was just a horse that could have even gone faster probably if asked. Wasn't really even asked and just won for fun.
So I'll be a bit of a contrarian. Surprise. Medina Spirit ran the biggest race of any horse in the race. 3 wide all the way around, taken out of his game, needs to be on the lead to win. Still finished second. So I'm standing there past the finish line for the first time with a couple of people. I'm right there, just right on the apron. And I'm like, 2 things. Knicks Go, this race is already over. Knicks Go won the race. Goodbye. I don't care if he goes 43 to the half and goes 108. He still wins. If you don't face pressure on the front end and you're a horse of that caliber, you could go as fast as you want to go without any pressure. You're winning. That's the mystery of horse racing and handicapping. It's not about how fast you go. It's about who's to your outside. And nobody to Knicks Go's outside. The other thing I said was Medina Spirit's going to finish last here. Why? Because he was 3 wide all the way around and was doing exactly what he should not have been doing. Medina Spirit, had he been placed either on the lead or at least would have made an attempt for it, or at least would have been right behind Knicks Go, maybe a half a length or length behind, wins the race. So tell me I'm crazy if you want. I've watched tens of thousands of races over my career. Medina Spirit is a one-style horse. He cannot win from off the pace, and he ran his best race from off the pace while losing ground. Medina Spirit was the best horse in the race. I'm sorry. That's my
no, he wasn't. Knicks Go was the best horse in the race. He was wire to wire, and was drifting out and still got faster as it went along. I mean, there's no argument that anybody was the better horse in the race. He's a monster, and when he runs like that, nobody's going to be able to beat him. I will agree with you that Medina Spirit has gotten better as the year has progressed and did run a big race and still lost to the better horse.
He ran the best race. Had Knicks Go swap positions with Medina Spirit, Knicks Go would have finished last. It's all about race shape and horses being in positions where they're comfortable running. Knicks Go cannot run from off the pace, could not do what Medina Spirit did in that race. So
I mean, come on, Dan. The best horse. The best horse in the race is Knicks Go, who wired to wire an incredible field. That's the best horse in the race.
Here's the other dynamic here. And by the way, you thought I was going to be low energy today. What do you know? You got full energy.
You've pulled what I've pulled the last couple of weeks. You have found out that airports are hell right now. Like they're absolute. It is purgatory. If you go to one of those places, whether they decide to let you leave or not is completely arbitrary. It's like horrible.
Well, so maybe you're getting a little bit of cranky Dan here too. But I'm telling you, this is all coming from a place of like, again, just knowing, just watching this game for as many years as I have. You don't see horses do what Medina Spirit did. The other thing I'll say about Medina Spirit, people could laugh it off. I haven't heard anyone give Medina Spirit credit since Saturday. And I think a large part of that is because of Baffert. Okay.
Well, of course.
And so
I want to get to the other ones that won with Baffert, especially Corniche later, because, people are very, very, very upset that there he is positioned with the horse that's going to be like, as of right now, a Kentucky Derby favorite, knowing he can't train the horse at the Kentucky Derby. So we'll get to that in a bit, but go ahead.
Yeah. So that's the point. I think a lot of people would have been disappointed to see Medina Spirit win. And I think they're glad he didn't win. And they're breathing a sigh of relief that he didn't win. And so because of it, it's like, hey, you know what? Let's not even talk about that horse. But I think if there was any other horse who was a kind of one-dimensional, you would think one-dimensional, at least I did until Saturday, need the lead, get to the front and win type, doing it 3 wide from 5 lanes off the pace and still finish the way Medina Spirit finished, they'd be saying, oh, what a gutsy, brave horse. And so you just don't hear it. And I understand the reasoning why. It's just I'm a little disappointed because I like Medina Spirit. He was my Derby horse. I know everyone kind of is obviously at this point saying, we don't know what that was. And then since then, the horse has done nothing but run big race.
Derby horse.
Big race. Even in the Preakness, he took pressure through 45 and change and still held on for third. Wouldn't let anybody get by him once those 2 horses that were in front of him and obviously going by any horse that was taking that kind of pressure. He ran a crazy Preakness and has come back and has run good races since then. Medina Spirit is a spectacular horse. And
he's gotten better as the year's gone along. I agree with you. And I don't know what the plans are with him. And I feel like he's going to win a lot of major stakes races next year if that's what the plans are for him. I agree with you. He's gotten better. But to make some kind of argument that he was better than Knicks Go is absurd.
He ran the bigger race. He did run the bigger race. I'm sorry. JD, he's going to Saudi Arabia, right? I think I saw something like that.
Yeah. And I had a win wager on Medina Spirit. I will go ahead and say that. And Medina Spirit ran a great race, but it was the second best effort in the race.
Dan, who did you have did you bet Medina Spirit at the Classic? Is that what it is here? You just cannot be wrong.
No,
is that what this is?
I didn't have a single win ticket on Medina. I had Hot Rod Charlie.
Oh, yeah, Hot Rod Charlie. See, I was with you on if someone's going to pass them both, if we're going to have an off day, that I would have gone Hot Rod Charlie at that point. I agree. The price was going to be right for him. But I don't know. I feel like I'm just going to just say this because I'm very rarely right. But I called this one from the get-go. That horse gets out to the lead. You cannot catch him. I'm not even sure. I would have liked to. Okay, answer me this one then. Whose fault is it that Medina Spirit didn't go out to the lead with him? Is that the jockey's fault? Because anyone who's watched Knicks Go runs knows there is no chance that you're going to catch him if you let him get out on the lead. No chance.
I don't know about that. I think Medina Spirit is faster than Knicks Go.
Is he really? Because do you want to show the stretch run again? Because I'll show it to you if you want to see it. Just as visual proof. Why are you horse racing fake news today? All right, I saw the race.
Take Knicks Go Medina to Losal and have him run one of those dashes. I will bet my life Medina Spirit outruns Knicks Go.
This is not essential quality in the Derby where he ran some crazy trip and got around to whatever it was in the end. There's no traffic he had to navigate. He just got beat by a faster horse. I don't know why that's hard for you to say.
Call up Los Ponies, Jose, if you're watching. Set up the match race right now.
No one agrees with you on this.
Foot dash, whatever you want to call it, or yards, or whatever. How much is 770 yards? What was that? That 770-yard dash? Is that what they do?
Okay.
4.5 furlongs or 1,000 yards. You got your 2 choices there.
1,000. Let's do 1,000-yard Medina Spirit Knicks Go, and we'll see what happens. Look, everybody. Look, this is all groupthink. You've seen Knicks Go constantly since, Knicks Go, Knicks Go, Knicks Go. Dude, I love Knicks Go. He's a Maryland bred.
Yeah, I was about to say he's a Maryland bred.
I wanted Knicks Go to win the race, but Medina Spirit ran a massive race, and in my opinion, ran the bigger race. I'm sorry.
What are you talking about?
Medina Spirit
You can't run. By definition, you can't run the bigger race than the horse that won going wire to wire in one of the deepest fields in horse racing. You can't. There's no argument for that.
We're not removing the aspect of trips and lost ground and running against a bias. We can't remove those aspects from the handicapping, from the whole handicapping.
There was no traffic he had to navigate. Like he chose the trip that he took. What are you talking about? Like he chose the trip
the whole time. That's and he's a speed horse. He only wins when he's on the lead, and he still hung in. He still held off Essential Quality. Who's been one loss in his Essential Quality is one of the best horses in the world. He still held him off for second. Essential Quality didn't even get close to him for second.
God, I don't ever want to watch the Oscars with you because you're like, whoever didn't win the award, you're going to be like, but that was a better performance.
A lot of what we're seeing in the comments, people hate Medina Spirit. So I know that. And
okay.
I know
I get that, but like he still lost, and it wasn't like not fair and square. And oh, by the way, he didn't lose by a neck. I don't even know what you're talking about. Like it wasn't exactly close.
It doesn't. Again, I'll say this one last time. If Medina Spirit had been in the position that Knicks Go was in all the way around, and Knicks Go had been in the position that Medina Spirit was in, Medina Spirit wins by a larger margin, and Knicks Go loses by a larger margin.
Fine. I got one final word for this for you, and you'll appreciate this since you live in New York. Bing bong, Knicks Go. Bing bong.
What?
You don't know what Bing bong is?
I don't know Bing bong. It's Bing bong.
You are not a New Yorker. You don't know what Bing Bong is. When this show's over, I want you to Google Bing Bong, and you will see it is the thing of the Knicks season. You are missing it.
Oh yeah, I haven't watched a Knicks game since opening week, so I don't know what the heck's going on. I have no idea. I don't know. JD,
trust me on Bing Bong, you'll enjoy it. Bing Bong, Knicks Go. All right. All right. Let's take a break. We're gonna take a break. I'm gonna take a break because we're gonna get to the non-chalk things in a moment. Bet your favorite tracks online with Naira Bets, available nationwide in 30 states. Naira Bets offers best-in-class HD live video and replays, online contests to compete with other Naira Bets players, exclusive promotions to give back more, and expert picks and analysis. With an easy-to-use, free-to-download app, betting horse racing online has never been easier and safer. Sign up for Naira Bets now to earn a $200 sign-up bonus with promo code ABR200. And welcome back to the Winner's Circle. I'm Bram Weinstein with a very ornery Dan Torgman and JD Fox. Dan can't seem to get out of San Diego, or maybe he's just staying there forever. We'll find out in the not too distant future. We spent a long time talking about Dan's bizarre rationalization of how Knicks Go wasn't great in the Breeders' Cup Classic.
Spectacular.
All right, so
he was so good. He ran the second best race.
Yeah, Knicks Go got really lucky to win that race. Anyone who saw it knows that. So anyway,
how happy are you? How happy are you? This is the show that you joined us for.
Yeah, I thought I'm gonna be like I didn't know I was gonna be like an arbitrator here. I feel like there's I'm like Judge Judy here. I don't know.
Yeah, I would invite you into the conversation more, but I know you're on Bram's side, so I'm not going to.
The sniper here wants you to know you've got to find Dan. You're missing out on literally the trending thing of New York sports right now, Bing Bong. How you don't know what Bing Bong is the more disappointing thing than you saying to me that Knicks Go didn't win impressively.
Is that that video? I've seen that video.
Yes.
I've seen that video.
The video, you can't play it because 8 million guys are cursing. And then one guy just looks at the camera and he goes, Bing Bong. And this is taken off. Mike Breen is calling it. It's everywhere. Bing Bong is everywhere.
I remember there was that one guy who goes, man, we had Cuomo. He's like, it was like, what do you say? It was like a rough time or something like that.
Yeah.
He's like, well, we made it. Here we are.
Yeah.
It was really, really funny.
Yeah, this is Dan's not a real New Yorker. That's why he wears Canadian gear. All right.
Straight from here.
All right, let's get to the non-chalk things. So, listen, if you were going to single something, Letruska felt like a pretty good option for you going into this race over the weekend, and that did not work out. So check out Letruska going down in a massive upset at the Breeders' Cup.
Unleashing from the back of the pack. Letruska's dropped out of it. It's not Letruska today. As they come to the top of the stretch, it is Marsh Lorraine, Royal Flag, and Clairiere on the far outside. Marsh Lorraine trying to go for a giant upset. On the far outside, it's Clairiere trying to come through an opening on the inside late. Here comes Dunbar Road. They're coming to the wire, and it is. Oh, it's desperately close. Was it Marsh Lorraine or was it Dunbar Road in the Breeders' Cup Distaff?
It was Marsh Lorraine. So either one of you, who the hell is Marsh Lorraine? That happened.
Well, I was big on the Japanese horses this week, and we'll obviously have another success story here. But the only people I heard of that had Marsh Lorraine on any sort of ticket were missed punches. We saw several threads on Twitter of people who hit pick 4s and pick 5s because they accidentally hit the 10 instead of the 11. I saw at least 3 cases of that. This was just a performance that was totally based on the absolute suicidal fractions to start. I mean, this was one of the crazier races we've seen in a while in terms of pace up front, and nobody was going to be able to withstand those early fractions here. So back of the pack, I obviously was big on Clairiere here. I thought Clairiere was home and didn't even, matter in the finish. It was a great race, but what a suicidal pace up front, Dan.
I don't want to be criticized for just taking anything away from every winner from Saturday, but
oh, here we go.
No. I look, credit to Marsh Lorraine, and I love seeing. I think it's great for racing globally to see horses come in from Japan, have success, and on top of it, the celebration videos. You cannot beat those celebration videos. You've seen them on Twitter, just spectacular. But seriously, Clairiere, Dunbar Road. I mean, come on. I mean, those horses. I mean, how big of a hanger can you be? I mean, there's no better setup. Like, you didn't even have to run down Letruska. I'm kind of just look. They ran big races, and I know it's the top of the top, and there's so much energy. So many people love and care and try to get those horses ready for race day. But both of those horses had neither of them had any excuse. Malathat did. Malathat, as usual, found trouble. But I don't know, for Dunbar Road not to get up, and for Clairiere, I mean, who looked like she was going to roll by 7 lengths at mid stretch. I just don't. It's not a good look. But look, credit to Marsh Lorraine, and it was one of those where I was talking to somebody. They're like, "Hey, how did you do Saturday?" I said, "You know what? I had my worst Breeders' Cup day ever. I didn't hit. Well, actually, I hit one race, but not for much. I said I didn't hit much, but in order for you to have, as an American horse player who only focused on U.S. racing, in order for you to have had success on Saturday, you had to have been going all in these legs because there was no way you come up with Marsh Lorraine. I mean, there was just zero way. And even the Europeans, like Yabir wins the turf. I mean, great, Yabir's fine. I mean, but you know what? There were 6 other Europeans in that race who looked just as good, if not better, watching replays, looking at what they've accomplished so far. So I thought it was a really tough handicapping day, and Marsh Lorraine was obviously the toughest.
Yeah. On Letruska, what'd they say? Bad week of training? It wasn't got caught behind all these other horses and had some kind of excuse. It was right there, top of the stretch, and perfectly called, just dropped out. I don't know what happened.
I think it all comes down to pace, right? You had a horse to the inside who's a sprinter, who's going sprinter speed. You had horses to the outside. I mean, the race shaped up as one that had a lot of speed. But, unlike the Classic where they just let, the horse that they all assume was the best go to the lead without any pressure, here they decided, you know what, we're going to actually try to all press the pace and run to our running style. And that's what happens when horses run back, when all horses in a race run back to their running style, and 4 of them are dead speed horses. It's going to take a toll on Letruska. And Letruska's had an incredible campaign. I think we saw in Saratoga, we saw her overcome those challenges, like when she got pressed by multiple horses and still held on and held off the likes of Dunbar Road. But in this case, where you had, a large field, 4 horses with a ton of speed, it just caught up to her. I think she had a long campaign, and this was it.
Yeah,
Blood Horse. Go on, JD.
Blood Horse is reporting. Fausto Gutierrez has said Letruska's coming back, 5 or 6 starts in 2022.
Nice.
Wants to get back in the Breeders' Cup distaff next year. So looking forward to that. Looking forward to a full 2022 campaign for Letruska.
One other big upset, at least in my opinion, I'll get to the other Japanese horse in a moment, was Gamine, though, Filly Mare Sprint. What'd you make of that, Dan? Gamine losing, too.
That was a lot more surprising to me, but you could tell early on when Gamine didn't open up daylight on this field, because she seemed like the fastest horse by about 3 seconds. When she didn't open up daylight early, you're like, she's not. I mean, you can almost see it in her stride. She was on the front end, and she wasn't taking a whole lot of pressure. And then once you saw them start to press her going into the turn, and you could see that she wasn't doing that sort of kind of patented opening up more going into the turn and then kicking away as they came off the turn. I was like, oh boy, she's in trouble. She's in deep water here. I don't know. I don't have a non like entirely speculative theory about what happened. All I have is that she just didn't run the race we've seen Gamine run over and over and over again. And give Cece credit. She's been close so many times. She's had some really rough trips this year, and she still battled on in a lot of those races to finish second and third. And she finally had her day in the sun. So, I mean, I was happy to see it for Cece. But, yeah, I mean, it was to me, I think that was probably the most confounding result of the day.
I agree. Yeah. That one was really strange. All right. We showed you March Lorraine, so that was a big win for Japan. There were 2 of them. Filly and Mare Turf. Check out this other one, Love's Only You.
My Goddess is moving quickly. She's moving right now, and she's moving to the lead as they come to the top of the stretch. A 5-wide rally by Warlike Goddess and Julia Leperoux. They've taken the lead. My Sister Nat follows that run. Love battles on from the inside. It is Warlike Goddess in front. On the inside, Love. On the outside, My Sister Nat. Love's Only You is coming. Here comes Love's Only You to win it for Japan. Love's Only You came flying late. Beat My Sister Nat, Warlike Goddess, and Love.
Man, it was a heck of a move in between horses there to get there at the wire. What'd you make of that one, Dan?
Yeah, just super impressive. Everyone I spoke to leading into Saturday who had experience with the international runners, who had either seen the horse run up close or who was familiar with her training, said that that was their lock of the weekend. They were supremely confident in her, so I wasn't surprised. In terms of my rooting interest, I was actually hoping that My Sister Nat won. Actually, just sort of a brief personal story. I have an aunt, my dad's sister, who passed away a few years ago, and we called her Nat. My dad, I know, always gets emotional when he sees her running, and so I kind of put in a I was like, I got to put a bet in. I bet 50 win place on her just because I was like, oh, maybe today's her day. She's like, she hasn't had the best year. She had a good year last year. I would have loved to have seen her hold on. That would have been really, really awesome. And she's had a great career, but it wasn't to be. A better horse won, and that split there was spectacular. JD probably knows a lot more about Love's Only You. I know you follow those horses a lot closer.
Yeah, and really this was a horse that was primed for this spot. One of the things we're seeing with the Japanese runners is they're really starting to figure out a schedule to where these horses can peak for the Breeders' Cup, because their schedule normally would be they'd be running big races right up until, but they kind of took some time off and shipped over and did everything. And really, you have to give Kate Hunter a lot of credit. She's been the driving force behind getting these Japanese horses out here and doing so much work behind the scenes and getting owners and trainers to say, hey, you've got a talented enough horse. Let's get to the Breeders' Cup, and with 2 wins there. That was my one bet I won on Saturday. I had the exacta there. Obviously, I also had it 9-8, so I was hoping for My Sister Nat to come away victorious there. But it was a good performance and a great race, and that was the first of the 2 for Japan in what ended up being a big day. The only thing that would have made the day better is if we would have had the 2 Japanese horses win and then Japan, the horse, winning. But that didn't happen. That would have just synergized all of the Breeders' Cup.
All right, a few more I want to get to, but first we need to take a break, so check this out.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and Naira Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With Naira Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the Naira Bets app or visit nairabets.com.
Welcome back to the Winter Circle. I'm Bram Weinstein with Dan Torgman and JD Fox recapping the Breeders' Cup from Del Mar over the weekend. All right, a few more I want to get to. I think last week I was saying if you're going to pick something to single, it's Jackie's Warrior, and you would have been all off on that one too. What happened there, Dan? What's up with that one?
Another one where I guess the horses ran to expectation in terms of their run style, and there was a lot of pace, and they burned out Jackie's Warrior. That race, I mean, they went just silly fast. I mean, just absolutely absurd. And Jackie's Warrior again has had just a spectacular campaign, and that's about all I've got. I mean, they went too fast. They went too damn fast. So.
Couple others from Friday. Life is Good. Probably the what if horse of the year. Hadn't gotten hurt on the Derby Trail. Don't know what the results would have been with Life is Good. So I'm not surprised. Dirt mile winner there.
I was impressed. JD, take this one.
Yeah. Life is Good. I was trying to beat Life is Good with Ping Zhang, one of the Japanese horses, and that was just a bad choice. Life is Good was much the best in that field. That performance, I mean, Life is Good would have been competitive in the Classic with that performance. Obviously, then that would add another speedball to the Classic, but that was as impressive a performance as we saw this weekend.
I will say I followed JD in a real way on Ping Zhang, and of course that was the Japanese horse I bet on Saturday, and not Love's Only You or Marshall Rain. So that was the kind
his own stablemate cut him off twice in the race. Just completely dead cold, had to be pulled up twice because the stablemate ran into him. It was as frustrating as one can imagine.
A couple more from Friday from the juveniles. Juvenile fillies. I'm not surprised by Echo Zulu. If you'd seen her run previously, I mean, that was, she looks incredible. So I'm not surprised there whatsoever. I don't know if you are.
No, that was look. That was one where I was not going to be surprised. Echo Zulu ran away from them early. It didn't look like there was anyone fast enough to keep up with her early, and there wasn't. We did a Wired feature, so look out for that on AmericasBestRacing.net. A video where we had a mic on jockey Raylu Gutierrez, who was riding in his first Breeders' Cup race ever. He was on Hidden Connection, who, if you were watching and betting, was in the 2-hole. It was the 2-horse on Friday. And, he broke all right, but not great. And he talked about after the race, he's like, man, I'm sitting back there. He's like, I'm thinking, I wish this was a video game and I could just hit turbo, or I could send one of the other horses up to push pressure on Echo Zulu. He's like, because I'm sitting back there, there's nothing I can do about it. He's like, and it doesn't seem like anybody else is trying to do anything about it. He's like, I knew it was over real early. So, yeah.
There's that one. And the last one's Corniche. I mean, it wins juvenile, trained by Bob Baffert, as mentioned earlier. As of right now, Bob Baffert can't train a Derby horse. As of right now, it's a long way away. And, you were talking about this earlier with Medina Spirit, and I don't know that people have the same feeling about Corniche yet because there's no controversy specifically around this horse, but there is controversy around the trainer. So I don't know. I mean, I'm not surprised by the result. If you'd seen Corniche coming into it, I'm not surprised by the result. So what do you make of this? Because this is our last show of the year, Dan, and by the time we reconnect next year, I don't know where we're going to be on Baffert with the Derby Trail, whether, we'll see what happens with Corniche along the way, but, it's hard to project what it's going to be. I am somewhat surprised that we're sitting here in November and we have no resolution of the stuff in the past. And I'm not sure what the path forward is, but it would suggest that with him training Corniche and winning a race like this, that Bob and the racing world thinks it's all just going to kind of work itself out.
So a couple of things. Save the scratch at the gate and the juvenile turf on Friday, which I know we'll get to in a moment. The most significant scratch I can remember in Breeders' Cup history, recent history at least, is Jack Christopher scratching this past week, because once that happened, that really just gave the race to Corniche. Now, Corniche, I think, is a really nice horse. I had Corniche on top of everything. I mean, I also like the long shot who did nothing in the race, so I didn't really make out too well in that race. But Corniche was just such a logical play. Once Jack Christopher on the inside, who figured to be the other speed scratch. So Corniche did, I think, what was expected. Looks like a really nice prospect going into next year. Has done nothing wrong so far. So, but we also know that it's like super early to start talking about Kentucky Derby because, I mean, less than 10% of the horses that I won't say 10%. I'd say probably less than 25% of the horses that you're seeing right now who are kind of at the top of this 2-year-old crop are going to be the horses that are in the starting gate in Louisville. I mean, there are still, 20 horses you've never heard of who are going to be big players, and 14 or 15 of those are going to be in the starting gate come Derby Day. So it might be a moot point to discuss Corniche specifically, but yeah, he's the leader going into 2022. And I think it's going to be interesting to see how things play out. Churchill Downs is I'll say that they're no pushovers, right? I mean, they're not going to just decide one day that, hey, you know what, maybe we were too hard on Bob. No, this thing is going to play itself out. I think, and it's going to go through all of the courts and all of the every means of kind of adjudication before we figure out what the heck's going on. And so I wouldn't consider it a sure thing that you're going to see Bob's horses in the starting gate next year. I don't know. I mean, it's pure speculation. We'll see how it plays out, but I'm sure in terms of owners and those who made major investments in these horses, they're going to be aware of it. And so I'm sure they're going to, if they need to make a move at the last minute when it's starting to look like, man, maybe this isn't going to happen. Maybe we can't run this if the horse stays above. Then I'm sure they'll make a move, right? And they'll put the horse in another person's hands. But it is at this point just really just all speculation.
I was watching the latest episode of Secession. I don't know if you watched that show. I was watching that last night, and Logan Roy describes the latest controversy with his family as sea mist. And that's how I kind of feel like this is. It's just sea mist, and it'll all just kind of disappear, whether you like that or not. That's what it feels like to me at this point. Kentucky Derby happened a long time ago, and we have no resolution, none. Anyway, all right, you want to talk about the scratch for a minute because that was crazy. You want to talk about that? Yeah,
I think we should let JD set this up a little bit because he has like some firsthand like knowledge of how all this stuff works. So JD.
Yeah, so basically what happened, we had the two Charlie Appleby runners on the inside, the 1 and the 2. The 1 actually kind of started everything because the 1 horse hit the back of the gate, and that caused the 2 horse to freak out, and the 2 horse actually got cast in the gate. So the assistant starter opened the gate to let the 1 out, and there was miscommunication there because the vet thought the 1 broke through the gate. But instead, the assistant starter opened the gate. So most of the time in California, based on how the rules are with the vets, if the horse hits the back of the gate and then breaks through the gate, generally that's going to be automatically a scratch. But there was some confusion and a lot of confusion based on communication between the vets and the stewards in relation to scratching that horse before the horse was examined. They went on to examine the horse after hearing the assistant starter open the gate, found the horse fit to run, but the problem is they had already radioed in to make the call. There is now, with the statement that came out on Saturday, there's a lot of finger pointing going on as well. So I think we're going to get some clarity in these rules for the Breeders' Cup. I also think, obviously, this is only going to factor in next time the Breeders' Cup is in California because Kentucky has much more clear-cut rules on this. That horse, I guarantee you, would have remained a scratch and not run for purse money only based on the Kentucky rules. But since California allows horses to be re-entered if there is a tote error or any other error, they literally just give a carte blanche to put a horse back in a race, and that's not the case in Kentucky. So it was a disappointing time on Friday, but I think the one thing we can say about the Breeders' Cup, it's a big enough event to where that was the story Friday night, and it took us 33 minutes to get to it because there were bigger things that ended up happening on Saturday.
There's one thing I just want to say about this. Okay, and I appreciate how you explain that, and to all of us that follow the sport, like, great, like, I think the understanding comes pretty quickly, and then we get it. This event is, outside of the Triple Crown, the most watched event, and mainly by people that don't follow the sport that closely. And they need to change this rule, because the people who are watching and don't follow the sport that closely have no idea what happened there, and it makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. So that's just that's my soapbox for the day on that. And watching that, going, I follow this sport, and I needed that explained to me. Just think about the person who got dressed up for the day and decided just to watch horse racing for the first time since the Kentucky Derby, and has absolutely no clue what just happened there.
Yeah, being on track, Dan, I think you can agree with me. Those boo birds were real.
It was loud. Yeah, it was loud. It was loud. And I will say there are a couple of things. So speaking of like sort of the newer person of the sport who doesn't really, who's barely comprehending what bet types are available, what's an exacta, what's a trifecta. Tom Law has an interesting piece that he wrote on thisishorseracing.com. You should check out. He was standing by a couple of them and was having discussions with them, trying to explain to them what the heck was going on, and just saw the confusion in their face. He ends it with, "I just hope they didn't throw their tickets on the ground." And that's the thing. I mean, right? Like who the heck understands like what these rules are? And if you're new to racing, it's like there's no shot. For me, my bigger takeaway, and this is what I kept coming back to when I was talking to JD about it while it was happening on Friday. I'm like, wait, like how is it possible in this world of sports gambling technology that there is no technology to re-enter the horse back into the tote so that the horse, all the money that was on the horse just gets put back on the horse? Like, how is that possible? Like, how do we not have this technology?
Well, we had the technology because it happened for 8 minutes. We found out the horse got re-entered, and people could bet on him for another 8 minutes after initially being scratched. The problem is that's not in the rules. So basically, they then had to just take the horse back out of the tote. So that came from the Saturday explanation that we got from the CHRB, is that the horse, the biggest problem they saw was that the horse was actually re-entered into the wagering when he should never have. So
okay. So to be clear, once the horse is taken out, we can put him back in, or was the horse just never taken out?
The horse was taken out and then put back in, which is something technology-wise we can do, but not according to the rules of racing right now as they stand in any state.
Jesus.
God,
once a horse is out there.
We need a commissioner so bad. Oh my Lord. I mean, like it's mind numbing that happened the other day. Well, and it shouldn't have happened the other day. It's just mind numbing that it happened.
I'll say this. And like, and here's another thing, like where I get, like, this was 1/14 of the Breeders' Cup, and it was 1/14 of the money that kind of makes everyone whole, right? Like they need the wagering dollars, because it's as you said, outside the Derby, this is in the Triple Crown, this is like the biggest event of the year. But also, like, anytime this happens, if there's any sort of rules controversy, I feel almost anytime you see this in professional sports, from a wagering perspective, whatever platform I'm using to bet on the games, they're usually offering we're going to refund your bets.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. I'm just saying from the viewing experience, which is what we're here to try to help promote a little bit. Like when something is that utterly confusing, the rule is wrong. Like, you got to change the rule, because like you just can't let things like this happen. It's like the weirdest loophole that nobody understands. This is not a normal Saturday. Like there's a lot of people worldwide that are watching this and have no clue what just happened there. It makes no sense to anybody.
Well, how about that before Saturday? There was no protocol for there to only be the one vet who could call in the scratches. They had one dude call it in, and they had another vet call in and say, no, we're not doing that. And then they announced in the press release that JD was referencing on Saturday, we've now established a protocol where only this one vet can actually call in the scratches. Like, that didn't exist. Like what?
Whatever amount of money that was salvaged by having the bet still come in on this horse is not worth the negative press and hearing boos at the Breeders' Cup. It's not worth it. Like, it's not.
And the balance is, also to be clear, like, Breeders' Cup is a very, like, global, owner-centric event, right? It's called the Breeders' Cup, right? So they're thinking about the breeders and the owners and the people that like are with the horses and behind the horses. Like, so it's a tough balance for the Breeders' Cup, right? Like they know that it's a big wagering event, and they do have, they're very wagering-centric as well. But I get it, I guess, in terms of difficulty and PR and crisis management, if you have to withdraw that horse entirely and the horse is completely sound, Nothing wrong with the horse at all.
Yeah.
The horse just doesn't get to race because of an error made by a vet. I mean,
Yeah, listen, I get it, and I feel for them in that scenario. I do. I feel for them, but for the greater good, and the lack of confusion that is caused, and it's a mistake, and there's a massive apology, and there's some kind of amends that have to happen, but then you don't allow the event to get corrupted by something no one understands. And that's what ended up happening here, and so. Two wrongs don't make a right. That's all. It just in the end, two wrongs don't make a right here. Horse goes, wins, but you didn't win. Nobody knows. Nobody knows what's happening. That's crazy. All right. If I knew how to say "bing bong" in Japanese, I would do it right now, but I don't. Dan, you going to actually come back to the East Coast or no?
Yeah, I mean, this flight's a couple hours away now, so I should probably start packing up. But, dude, this has been a fun season.
Yeah.
It's been really, we've covered a lot. I think this is probably the most noise I've made. And actually, the reason, now that I'm here, usually I'm going to thank my wife because usually she's 10 feet away from me in a room. And she's working and, and all the rest of this stuff, but she's put up with me doing the show right in the middle of her show that she produces every week. So
ours is more important, Dan. Just reminder of that. Just
with I'll say just a slightly larger audience than
slightly. All right. Yeah. Here's what I want to say for next year.
Thanks to JD.
Here's what I would say. My final parting thought for 2021. In 2022, let's do these live streams at the tracks again. That would be really, really, really nice. No more pandemic-y stuff. That's what I'm hoping for. By the time we get around to the Derby Trail next year, next early spring, that we're going to Gulfstream or Louisiana or Keeneland or Churchill Downs or New York, wherever. I'm hoping we're doing it there and we're out of pandemic land. That's my hope for next year.
Amen. And as I was saying at the end of my thing, thanks to JD for y'all didn't see him the entire year. He was behind the scenes setting up the shows, bringing in the videos and all that, but we couldn't do the show without JD. So thank you, brother.
Of course, and one thing I want to say quickly, you teased it, Dan. So Pizza Bianca on Friday, big winner for me. I want to let Bobby Flay know I'm going to be in Vegas in December. I've already made reservations at Amalfi because the horse won me some money. So thanks, Bobby Flay, 9-1, Pizza Bianca. We're going to enjoy it in Vegas in December.
Well, I'll say to Bobby Flay, anytime he wants me to go to any of his restaurants, I'm there. So happy to come anytime. All right, Dan, safe travels on your way back. JD, thank you for the season. Thank you all for watching in the 2021 season. We'll see you next spring. As always, the Winner's Circle is presented by America's Day at the Races, the official live broadcast partner of Aqueduct Racetrack, Belmont Park, Saratoga Racecourse, and tracks nationwide. For JD and Dan, I'm Bram. See ya in 2022.